Hey guys, it's Dario again. It's the middle of winter. You haven't heard from me in a couple months. I've just building cars, building engines, tons of customer stuff, a little bit of my own stuff. Usually this time of year I'm in the collecting parts stage. I don't normally do too much stuff between say November and January, but it's almost February now and it's time to get in gear, get shit done. The Malibu is sold. I sold it the next day right after the track rental that I got in so much trouble for. Sold the turbo kit off my Chevette, the twin turbo Chevette that I gave you. This is what this video is mostly about. It's kind of a review of all the stuff I did this year with it. I gave you a little bit of a sneak peek in one of my other videos when I was building the intercooler tank and stuff like that. Got it all figured out. Had a really good year with it. Kind of got to where I wanted to, but I didn't. So now, of course, you're upgrading. You're always upgrading with this kind of stuff. That's my policy. Whether you go faster or slower, you just keep throwing money at the fire. So this is the car. Now we're at my buddy Bruce's shop, which is my buddy Ryan's dad with the Zephyr in the other videos. If you go scroll down to my other videos, that we have the 4.8 liter LS Zephyr wagon. So I store my car here. He keeps the shop heated. It's kind of nice. It's out of the way. It's a little bit of a drive. So I'm not tempted to work on it all the time. But I have to take shit apart now because machine shops take forever. I'm going to probably do some stuff with the heads. I'm redoing the whole turbo kit. I got some new turbos to show you and a few other things. So I'll just give you a quick peek at the car and we'll go from there, and then we're going to start taking it apart. Alright, so here's what the car looks like right now. Just before I parked it for the winter time, I took the turbo kit off, sold it to my buddy. It's actually going on a square body S10 with a bunch of stuff. The turbo kit just about fit perfect with the way he's doing it. I don't think I had the intercooler stuff finished in the last video, but you can just see the hoses there. It actually ended up working out really well. Big difference from obviously no air to water. It seemed to solve a few of my issues. Normally the turbos sit right in here and then the turbo pipes there. You can see my plug wires. Those are just stock, or not stock, but MSD stock style truck plug wires, and then the coil packs are mounted below, and that's pretty much that part. I rubbed the push rods out of this thing already for one of my other builds too, so that helps it take apart a little bit easier. That's my catch can. Not a lot to it. Big -10 breathers. I had issue when I was shutting down at the top of the track. You'd see big clouds of smoke because there was so much pressure, it was just backing up into the turbo. So once I put those -10s on there and ran them to my catch can versus the 3/8 stock lines that it had, it ended up going a lot better. This side's the same. Pretty much the same setup with the coils mounted down on the side of the block. You don't get to really see them that often. My lawnmower battery, it's still kicking 3 years later, so that was a pretty good investment for a lightweight battery. Here's the intake with the 16 injectors. A few people have mentioned that. I don't use the second set of injectors. I'm probably going to be switching to a different intake since the Latvian's 210s do so well. So I'm trying to save weight on this thing. The car is already ridiculously light, but it could always be lighter because the lighter something is, the easier it is on parts. You can see my mid plate poking out there. The mid plate is actually a piece of the firewall, so it's kind of all in one, and it's all tied into the roll cage and all that kind of stuff. And I got my Dodge master cylinder like most race cars use. Strange sells it, but I got this one from Rock Auto. I think it's like a 87 Dodge van or something like that. Backwards alternator like I showed before, just because there's no room with the mid plate. Still all stock front suspension. It's got Viking double adjustable shocks. Nothing too crazy that way. So we're gonna start ripping this thing apart. When I have some more stuff to show you, I'll show you and we'll go from there. We've been at it for about 20 minutes and we got the intake and all that stuff off. Here's the intake. These are the extra bungs I added for the second set of injectors that I never use. So there's that. These are the Latvian 210s, little tiny things with the adapter harnesses. And this is where we're at with this. All that's left is we just gotta pull the rockers off because they're just sitting on there, and then pull the heads. This is a pretty quick job. We're about 20 minutes in. So we got this thing all apart. Everything looks awesome, of course. I should have just left it alone. You can see this uses the newer style notched pistons out of, like, say, a 2010 and up 5.3. This motor originally had flat tops, but it also had 16 bent valves, so a lot of the pistons were damaged. So I got these off of eBay. They were like $100. They're like factory GM takeouts that came with rings, all that kind of jazz. Same stuff. You can see a little bit of the flame travel on some of the pistons. Nothing crazy. Some leftover copper spray on the head gaskets. The head gaskets were stuck to the heads pretty good. So come over here. These are the heads. They're old school NASCAR camping truck series 243s. They were CNC'd by, I think it's called Wagner Motorsports. They come up on LS1 Tech all the time. These are where I bought them from. They're usually around $1,000 a set, but then you have to have them gone through because they've obviously had some time on them. They got Del West titanium intake and exhaust valves. So there's that. They got I put Brian Tooley 660 platinum springs in them with titanium retainers. Try to keep everything super light. I use a stock rocker with a Brian Tooley trunnion kit. So you can't really see it, but I've been told these things are ported within an inch of their life. They flow over 300 CFM, which is about 50 CFM more than stock. There's that. I'm not totally sure what I'm going to do with these. Either I'm going to just switch up the valves to go to some stainless stuff to make them last a little longer, or I might go to a totally different head. I haven't totally decided yet. So there's that. So I ended up getting my NHRA license this year at the end of the year. I've been meaning to do that for a while, but then the track kind of pushed me to do that when I took the car there, and it had a parachute on the back and I wasn't licensed. So I ended up going 860s on my first full pass, 850, high 850s on the second full pass, and then I did a little later in the month, I ended up doing a couple low. The best I went was an 852, and the best mile per hour I went was a 159. So I'll show you some videos of that, and then we'll come back and I'll show you the new turbos, and we'll go from there. So I had the Rev 9, the $600 eBay turbos on this thing, and they were kind of out of steam at 27 pounds of boost. It wasn't going really faster, even though I didn't have a lot of passes on it. But I decided to upgrade anyways. I'm going to go to the stainless up and forward eBay Chinese headers, and then these are the turbos I'm going to run. They're BorgWarner S369s. I'm going to run them with tile V-band housings just because to save a bunch of weight off the front of the car. They're pretty fancy. These are the forged metal wheel turbos. And I might do speed sensors if I still have an input left in my thing. So that's what I'm going to be running. I'm going to be doing some more videos on this car. I'm going to be doing more videos on some other stuff I got. A bunch of people have been saying that I should do more of my daily type cars I'm working on because I technically do this every day, but you haven't heard from me in a couple months. So stay tuned more for that, and thanks for watching. Okay, do it.
Tell me.
Go.